The devil attacks you with your thoughts, anxiety. So what does that mean? That all anxiety comes from the devil. Fear, and that fear is what holds you back in life. Or that every time you say something, you do it. Wake up super negative, right? You get rid of this negative emotion you have. Is it weeds out the people that are not meant to be with you when you hit the finish line? All right, so I'm gonna finish my other whiteboard video about porn addiction tomorrow. It's gonna be more of how to stop it, but this is gonna be a regular car talk, kind of go over some things, kind of motivational car talk, and I'm gonna talk about you have to stop thinking and just start doing. People like, okay, I work at LA Fitness and I work with like a lot of people I train, a lot of older people, a lot of younger people. I train a lot of people, right? And one thing they do during the workout is they start thinking too much about the exercise. So one thing you don't want to do when you're exercising is start thinking about, oh, this is going to be a heavy weight that I have to push, or this is going to be very tiring. This is a lot of reps, because that's talking yourself out of doing it, and it's going to make you less motivated to actually do the exercise. When you just stop thinking and say, I'm going to move my body towards this exercise, I'm going to move my body to lift this weight, I'm going to move my body to take this jog, I'm going to move my body to do this squat, and you don't think about it and you just move as if you're a robot, it's a lot easier to get through a workout and stay consistent at it, because you're not thinking, you're just doing. And this applies to any part of your life, right? So the devil attacks you with your thoughts. He attacks you by getting you to overthink about literally everything. And if you're a believer like me, you understand that God is not a God of confusion. He's not a God that gives you anxiety. So what does that mean? That all anxiety comes from the devil. So if the devil wants to give you anxiety, you have to ask yourself, why? When you are an anxious person, you stop believing in yourself. You start asking too many questions about things that you should not be worried about. It causes you to worry. It causes you to be scared. It causes you to fear, and that fear is what holds you back in life. It holds you back in your purpose, and your purpose is what is used by God. Like, God uses a plan that he has for you, and he makes you find that purpose for you to fulfill his purpose. And you can't do that if you're constantly overthinking about every single one of your actions. Overthinking comes from a lot of not listening to yourself. If you don't keep your word to yourself, it's going to be hard to think that you could do something, say you're going to do something, and then you don't do it, and now you're sitting there like trying to not overthink about a situation, when every time you've ever tried to commit to something, you just couldn't commit. You have to really take that into consideration. Like, you have to make sure your yes means yes, your no means no. You have to make sure that every time you say something, you do it. Keeping your word to yourself is the cure to your overthinking, because you overthink too much because you don't keep your word to yourself. And if you kept your word to yourself, it'd be a lot easier for you not to overthink, right? And one mindset I have grappled with, and one mindset that I have come with, is I'm just going to do and let my doing overcompensate for my negative thoughts, right? So, prime example, when I wake up in the morning, probably just like you, most people wake up super negative, right? And if you wake up super negative, that's normal, because you haven't accomplished anything. But people allow this emotion of waking up super negative to dictate their actions for the day, because they don't feel positive as soon as they wake up. And this is how they never get anything done. But the way you get rid of this negative emotion you have in the morning is by overcompensating with massive action, massive positive actions, which is praying, reading the Bible, going to the gym, doing whatever work you have to do that day. You double down on the work to get rid of the negative action. Okay, that is the cure for negative thoughts. Doubling down on the positive actions. Okay, and the positive actions are retraining your brain to tell you that you're positive. Every single morning you're gonna wake up negative. You retrain it every day through actions to stay positive, right? So, this is a lot of the reasons why you guys can't stick to anything, because when you try to stick to something, as soon as a little hump hits the road, you get negative and you quit. Or you go back, or you say you made a New Year's resolution to stop smoking weed or stop drinking, or maybe it is to stop watching porn. And as soon as you fell back into it one night, you're like, I'm just going to burn the whole bridge down, because it doesn't even matter at this point, right? And this is what a lot of people do. I used to do the same thing as well, where I would say that I'm going to quit something, try to quit it, and then I do for a week, and then that's it. And then one day I fall back into it, and I'm like, oh, I'm not meant to do this. I can't stop. And now I start doubting all of my thoughts. And this is the devil's trick. He makes you overthink one little mistake, right? And when you overthink one little mistake and allow it to dictate the rest of your life, you know, it can really hold you back. This is why people don't ever try to achieve anything in their life, because they think they've tried something, they failed a little bit and they quit. Right? But you have to understand, since you were a kid, the notion that failure is bad has been programmed into your head over and over and over and over and over again. Because you have to understand, society or the Matrix or whatever, they want you to be afraid of failure, so you take the safe route. And the safe route is the route that's going to make their programming work. It's going to make whatever they have plans, it's going to make it work for them. So their job is to get you to grow up, pay taxes, and die, right? Their job is to get you to be sad, be anxious. They can sell you pharmaceutical pills, right? That's their job. Their job is to get you to just buy into the programming, and you buy into the programming when you fear failure, because you see everybody else around you doing the same thing. So stepping outside of the box and everybody judging you for it, and then fearing, and then you fail, and now everybody's talking about you, right? It's what stops you from achieving that thing that you know you want to go ahead and try to achieve. Right? You're not really scared of failure, right? You're scared of people seeing you fail, because you fail all the time in private. You fail all the time. If you failed and nobody's seen you, you really wouldn't care. You just don't want to fall in front of your face in front of everybody. But you have to get over that thought, because people who laugh at you when you fail, when you're on your purpose, that's who you know is not truly your friend or not truly a loved one of yours. These people are meant to be out of your life. The beauty of following your purpose is it weeds out the people that are not meant to be with you when you hit the finish line. When you hit the end, when you hit the part, when you're successful, it weeds them out, because they're not going to be able to sit there and watch you go along for the ride and support you through it. So everybody that laughed at you when you failed, it's okay. Let them go. Let them go. It's okay to let people go. You guys are so caught up in trying to be liked by people. Stop trying to be liked by everybody. Everybody is not going to like you. They killed a perfect man. You're nowhere near perfect. So why would you expect them to not want to try to kill you, bro? Why would you expect them to not try to kill you? Nobody, just accept the fact that when you think differently, majority of people are not going to like you, bro. You know, once I gave my life to God, I had family members who had issues with it. Once I started following my purpose, I had people I grew up with talking about me behind my back all the time, bro. And I just stopped caring. I became numb to it. You know, and when it comes to people talking about you or being afraid to fail in front of people, right? Or people saying things about you, you gotta understand, once you get past the first rumor or the second rumor, and then you hear this person talking about you, and then this person talking about you. Once you hear the first two instances, you don't really care after that. So it's really just, you have to get over the hurdle of fear, and then after you hear the first initial people talking about you, you don't care anymore after that. So just get over that initial hump of people talking behind your back. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with fearing that, but the people who succeed, even though they feared it, they were still braver than their fear, and they still want to go achieve what they need to achieve. Okay? So it's okay to be scared. Everybody's scared, especially as a man. It's okay to be scared. But the difference between a person who is brave and a person who is not the fact that one has fear and one doesn't, is one doesn't allow their fear to dictate their actions, right? And this is with anything, okay? And this is what the main thing of following your purpose. This is the main thing of following your purpose, bro. You know, sorry to cut off, but you know, your fears is just something that's made up in your head. It's not really real a lot of the times. Your fear is just an emotion. And your fear is an emotion that is stronger when your faith with God isn't that strong, right? So the stronger your faith in God, the less you fear things, because you understand that He has the final say in whatever happens in your life. So there's no point in truly fearing anything, because the person that is on your side is the holiest of the holiest people in the world, and the strongest, the greatest him. The first him is the person that is on your side. So there's no reason to fear, right? And the warrior understands this. The warrior understands that a fear is just a gatekeeper to the war. And once you kill him, the war is already over, right? So just getting past that little initial hump of saying, I'm going to start today, being scared of what other people think of you, these are all normal things. But what switches, but the difference between the people that succeed and didn't succeed is the people who didn't succeed. The people who did succeed did not care. They did not care about falling on their face in front of people. Because I really want you to think about who it is that's going to laugh at you. Really think, what person am I worried about saying something about me failing? I want you to think, is this somebody that I want to emulate? Is this somebody whose life I admire? 9 times out of 10, it is a no, bro. I've never, ever met somebody who, made fun of people who failed, who I had true admiration for. It was actually someone I wanted to be the exact opposite of. Like, you don't conquer fear by claiming it. You conquer fear by advancing even when it begs you to stop. Right? I'm telling you, bro, everything you want is on the side of what you're afraid, is on the other side of what you're afraid of. And there's nothing really to be afraid of, bro. It's nothing really to be afraid of. Everybody that you're afraid that's going to talk about you, you don't want to be their friend anyway. They're not people that you want to have around you. No true friend, anybody that's my friend that I consider my friend, I support them in whatever they do. I would never make fun of them for failing. I actually find it admirable the more they fail. I find it admirable the more they fall on their face. Because I'm like, man, that's something difficult to do, because most people can't fall on their face 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, still get back up. And they still back up after 45 times they didn't fell on their face. They still like, let's go. Most people can't do that. Okay. So I know it cut off a couple times. I got to go fix the storage on my phone, but I'm going to leave you guys with that. I'm going to have the whiteboard video about how to stop really watching porn. The other whiteboard video was kind of like my story of how I dealt with porn and like how to, fix it. But I'm going to get that up tomorrow. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Follow me at Official Spider.